right. Evening, everybody. Make sure the stream's in the right orientation for you. Come on. Righty. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, here's one card done. No, just kidding. This is another one of the corn syrup tanks I've already got on the layout. Just happened to notice that it escaped my Atlas AccuMate purge, so it just now got scalehead KDs. But got these two tanks down here to work on tonight, and we're gonna be having some fun with them. I'll tilt them down just so you can see them. So we've got two of them. These are going to go into Cargill reporting marks. I found some really cool reference photos that they're for tanks that are actually a slightly larger capacity, but we're going to kind of just make do with what we've got. I printed off reference photos for them both. And what's fun about these is you can see that they actually patched out the Cargill the Cargill logos, which is pretty neat. So we're going to be working on both of these tonight. For 4595, we're going to do the numbering first, and then we're going to do the patch. But for 4519, we're going to do the patchwork over here first, and that way I can start the drying process on that. And yeah, and it'll give us a little bit of variety. It doesn't really matter which we do first, so might as well just have some fun with it and work on them in a different order so that we're not doing the same thing all night. All right, so I see we got Rick and Ed out here. How are you guys doing? Rick, yeah, I actually kind of am excited for those the GP15s myself, because everybody I know is just completely uninterested in going to shoot those, so it should be a nice quiet few years on the Winnie P until people decide that they're actually cool again. And I'll enjoy shooting them in the meantime. Okay, so I'm not sure I have the exact right font for these things, but we're gonna make do with what we've got. I've got a variety of different fonts, so we should be able to figure out what we're doing. Always like the GP15s, Rick. Yeah, they're a neat locomotive, and the naturally aspirated ones, they just sound mean. So it's always fun to watch those things work. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mask off the one that we're doing for 4519, and we're going to get that process underway so that things have a chance to dry. I've got my frog tape here, and we're just going to mask out. Unfortunately, I don't actually have the data decal that is on the side of this or this, so those might have to come at a later date, but we're going to just kind of mask off, the same general shape this one's got. And then I think, I'm actually pretty excited because I think I have the exact right color of blue-gray to do the patch right here. I've got this Vallejo grayish blue. And if I need to darken it a little bit, I've got a bunch of different darker grays or lighter grays, whatever I need to do to get it exactly right. But it looks, I mean, that's unshaken color, but it looks just about right for that right out of the bottle. So I'm pretty excited for that. I think it's going to look sharp. Hey, Tim. How's it going, man? Alright, so I think the first masking I'm going to do is try. See, this is the thing with these tankers, is it might be tough to do the masking the way I normally do it. So we might end up getting a little bit creative here, we'll see. But I'm going to do this bottom one first, just because it looks like that kind of goes, pretty much all the way lengthwise across. So we'll get that one done first. All right, awesome, Tim. Switching the layout while you're watching. Can't think of a better plan. So Ed and Rick, you may have seen these tank cars before. These were actually part of Nick's collection. I picked them up at Dispatch the other day. Figured that they'd have a good home here. So I needed really 2 more corn syrup tanks in order to make sure that the pool was right. Oh, I gotta adjust the camera. You guys keep just seeing the back of my head. Nobody wants to see that. Let's see. Let's see if that's gonna work. Test to see how far my head goes in. Yeah, that's better than it was. I'll take it. Okay, so let's think about this, because this is kind of a tougher challenge than I thought, honestly. I think I might actually want to just kind of separate that bottom line into a couple of pieces, because the stanchion that's here is going to be a challenge to work around, but it might be easier to work around if I just kind of work around it in different pieces for the masking. So these cars, I've got a short coming out next week about these cars. When I went to go do all the decal work, I was actually really shocked at how easily all of the numbering came off. So I made a short about how satisfying it was, and anybody who's ever renumbered cars knows how much of a pain it can be. Sometimes it's easy, but sometimes it can be a bit of a pain to get that process going. So pretty neat. Not quite there. So we don't need to go all the way to the, although that is way further over on this car. Some of this stuff is, some of these labels, I have to debate whether I want to put forth the effort to really do them accurately or not. Like all the load limits and stuff that are on this car managed to survive me removing all the decals, so I'm gonna keep those. But these ones, I actually just am now noticing that they're a little messed up, so those are gonna have to get fixed eventually. But I suppose we'll at least. Yeah, we'll just paint over the top of this decal, since I'm already a little late to the party for removing it, but parafilm, interesting, Rick. Yeah, I'm always interested in trying new things, so sounds good. I was just over staring at the issue that I keep having at CPGing tonight before we started, and There might be some drastic changes coming to the track layout at CPG, and I think in an effort to make that area of the layout more reliable. I think I've got a plan that's going to really help to fix things so that it's not quite as big of a problem, because it seems like, unfortunately, every single op session that I've had, there's been at least one derailment there, and that's not acceptable, so we're going to have to move towards fixing that issue for sure. Okay, so that should be enough. There's some decal work on top of that too. I might have to see what I can find as far as like, you know, decals are concerned for this. We'll see. It's interesting. YouTube won't tell me how many people I've got in the chat tonight for some reason. It's not showing that anywhere. I'm not sure why. But hopefully everybody's enjoying. Show it to me on the top of the phone. Looks like there's 9 of you out there. Pretty cool. Okay, let's keep working on this masking. Definitely want to get that done and keep on trucking. This is really the only night of the week that, truthfully, I spend much time at the at the workbench. Is when I'm talking with everybody on the live stream. So try to get as much done as I can. There's just too much going on the layout itself to be at the workbench every night right now, unfortunately. Okay, so this might, I can't, problem with the angle of this reference photo is I can't 100% see how close to the ladder this gets. It looks like it gets extremely close. It's going to be difficult for me, though, to replicate that. Let's see if I can get a little bit thinner of a piece of tape here going, though. That looks pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. And so this is the tallest part. Looks like it comes up to 1, 2, 3 rungs on the ladder. So 1, 2, 3. So here's where we're gonna start the horizontal part of the top patch. I can't tell. So this one's, it's hard to see on the picture where the seams are. You can very clearly see, at least in person, where the seam is on my car. I don't know if you guys can, how well you guys can see it, because you actually are a little further zoomed out than I'd like tonight, but too late to fix it now. I'm going to go ahead and say it actually comes out past it. So let's get that, we'll get that going. So yeah, like I said, I've got the decals already removed off of this car. And I also already went ahead and did a dull coat on it as well. And the other thing that I did was actually went back and redid the trucks. So these are now painted brown, light weathering, and then I pulled the Walthers trucks, or the Walthers wheels off of it, and I'm just going with Intermountain 36-inch wheel sets. Those are all painted weathers as well. So as soon as these are back together, they should be some really sharp looking cars for sure. Overfilling tracks, huh, Tim? I actually I spent a lot of last week developing my own spreadsheet that kind of automates a little bit of the car flow process. And Tim, actually, I'm excited to have you back in September because I took in a lot of your feedback from the Ops Around the Clock session, and there's a lot more car forwarding going on the layout. We're almost down to no repeat cars on any jobs. There's still some where I just straight up don't have enough cars to not repeat, but we're to the point now where car flow is much better than it was, and should be a lot more fun for you to operate. So again, yeah, I appreciated your feedback on that because it's pushed me to do some interesting things, and I think you'll enjoy it. So yeah, looking forward to having you back. Okay, so now we're gonna do this downside. Let's see. So it comes down almost all the way. It's kind of in between these two rungs. That's kind of what I'm going to use as my reference point. Although it looks like maybe this ladder's not even 100% right, but so it comes down to about a little more than above halfway, but that looks maybe a little. I think that looks relatively right, although this is not a straight enough line. I gotta use this square piece of tape for that. Ed, I'm good on cars. These are the last two that I need to make sure I've got the right flow for corn syrup. And then, I've got very specific needs as far as the cars are concerned. So, oh my gosh, I can't cut anything square. Let's see here. Try to use the cutting mat here to actually re-square this piece. Hopefully I still keep my tack. Yeah, but so the op scheme now has a lot more respotting going on. A lot more respots, a lot more not one for one type of stuff. A little bit more fun. And I also went like almost full, full prototypical where, there's a lot of times where on the Finger Lakes they'll literally go, they'll have a super long train one day and then two cars the next. So there's two different jobs now where you actually run the job runs both days, but the first day one job is full of cars, and then the second day it's only got two cars going out, but you still manage to switch every single industry just with respots and everything, even though you're only going out with two cars. So I think it's a pretty neat op scheme now. It is actually relatively accurate to the way the Finger Lakes does things. They do have an imbalance a lot of times, depending on what comes in on the interchange tracks of car volume. So I think it's just kind of doing a good job of balancing that. Okay, I'm happy, I think, with the way that's looking. And then we've just got this little jut down now to worry about. Laptop screen's broken. That's unfortunate. Do you have an auxiliary screen at all, Tim, that you can plug in like through an HDMI port? Okay, so what do I want to do here? I think I want to go like pretty much like that. That actually might be just about right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm not going for like 100% accurate here, but just want to basically have the overall like structure that's on that patch. And then we got one more over here to do as well, which, man, some of these decals are just not in the right place for me, but we're gonna have to make it work. This is not, you know, I don't have time to be worrying about making sure these are 100% prototypical right now. Maybe they'll warrant a revisit at a time where the layout's in a more complete state, where I'm you know, not working on it as heavily. We'll see. Yep, that looks just about right, I'd say. And then I just got to do this patch here, which I might leave this. Well, this is all flammable stuff, and this is not a flammable commodity that we're carrying. So I might just, do I flub it and go wider, or maybe I'll just go to like here, and I'll come back in and remove the actually, the liquid's coming right off anyway. Cool. Oh, okay. You got to move the laptop upstairs. Gotcha, Tim. Gotcha. Okay, so let's get this last little patch for this side done. Alright, so this is just really a scrap piece of tape, which is why it looks so chaotic. Pay no attention. Actually, I might be able to get another piece out of it. This is probably a dumb idea to cut on the car, but I've done dumber. Oh, looks like my head's still getting in the screen a little bit, but at least it's not as egregious as it was. Alright, so this feels like it's not up high enough. I may have to raise the height of that. Yeah, I think we're going to revisit that. I'm going to put it slightly higher above this rung. It looks like that's right anyway. That ought to do. Okay, cool. Alright, so that side of things is done. ACB Railroader, how's it going? Now comes the challenge of masking the rest of the car, which we want to see absolutely no paint on. The way I do that is usually just some paper towel. And we might have to get just a wee bit creative, but we'll make it do. Nice thing about the acrylics is that even if I do get a little bit of paint on it, it's not going to be the end of the world to clean it off once it's done. Just a little isopropyl, and we'll be fine. Doing good, CB Railroader. Thanks for asking. Let's fill in this little gap that kind of drops down into the car a little bit. Sorry if you guys can't see this as well, but this step kind of more important for me to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay. So there's that. And let's see, can we get it to wrap all the way around? Pretty much. There, yep. Might throw some dedicated tape over the ladder itself. Just to make sure that we don't get any overspray here. Might even be able to get away with this doubling as security for masking out the side. Oh yeah. Nice. Masking does not need to be pretty, it just needs to work. So what's everybody else got on their workbench? Anything fun? I know, Rick, you've been pumping out D&H stuff. And that Pensio scale with the Blunami was pretty cool too. What a fun idea Blunami is for 3-rail O, where they've never had a standardized system to go on. Curiosity is why is this repeating? Repeating? What's repeating, David? I don't know. Yeah, Tim, I was sorry to hear about the barn. That stinks that it's that got in your way there, for sure. All right, so let's see. Need to do a little bit more on this side, and then I think we'll have it relatively well enough masked. This stuff on the side does not want to stay put, but we will make it work. Okay, so here's our paint colors. I'm gonna monkey around with getting that mixed up here. I'll probably mess around with a little bit of this golden airbrush medium as well. I do have it pre-mixed though, so. Mixing cup. hiding on me. Oh, replacing panels still at the club. Very cool, Ed. Don't forget we got ops around the clock, or not ops around the clock, round robin ops there too. Relying on Rochester for that great kickoff event, right? Okay, so let's see if this is going to be... Yeah, I don't think that's quite the color I want. I think I want it a little bit darker, so we'll play with mixing it a little bit here. I want just a crummy brush. That's still not going to get dark enough. Oop, wrong one. I also do still have to figure out what the B side of this car is gonna look like. I believe I downloaded both sides of the car, so should be fine. That's a little closer, but I think it's still a little darker of a color. I think I want a little darker of a gray in there. There we go. We're getting close now. I would say that's close enough that I'm happy with it. Alright, let's get a little bit of our additive in here. This stuff can get messy, so I'm gonna step away from this stream real quick. I should have put it at the pre-mixed mixture in a different container, because it just kind of spills out of this thing. Hopefully that's enough. Several years of panel replacements. Boy, oh boy, sounds fun. We actually are, at GSME, we're going to be replacing panels as well, too. Alright, I think we've got that thin enough. Yeah, that should work. Alright, so I've got the airbrush ready to go over here, so this will only take a couple of seconds that I'll be off camera, but I'll still be right next to the stream area. My paint booth is just off to the right. Yep. A little bit of cleaning to do on the airbrush. Apparently it's a little clogged for some reason. Thought I had this pretty well cleaned out after the last time I used it, but apparently not. I guess this is probably making pretty riveting content, huh? Guy cleans airbrush off camera. And we were entertained. There we go. Much better. Still having problems here. Sorry, guys. Thought I had this all cleaned up and ready to go before the stream. Turns out I was not prepared. Alright, that's as good as we're getting. Okay, let's try this. See how it goes. Alright, we got good airflow. Well, we'll have to see how that turns out. The mix that I'm using is this airbrush medium from Golden. I haven't been using it much, but I may have had it on a little too thin because that looks like it's not going to adhere the way I want it to. So I might have to mess around with that, but for now we'll kind of move on to the next part of the show here and work on the decaling process for the other car. That's a tall task, Ed. I commend you for you know, taking it on though. That's especially at a club layout where you're not there all the time. Yeah, this is not gonna work out. Not adhering the way I want it to. That's disappointing. Should have just stuck with my tried and true, thinning it with water. Alright, so let's turn our attention to 4595 here. Time we got 8:09. Alright. We'll have about a good 20 minutes to get this taken care of. So this is the size lettering it looks like we want for this. And it's a pretty close match font-wise. Let me just see if I got anything that's closer. Yeah, this will work. Alright, so we want C's. Cut that a little too close. I get what you mean, Ed. I mean, there's there's a lot that needs to get worked on at GSME too. All of the panels we have need to be updated because we've gone in and changed track arrangement so much that it's a little bit chaotic. So I feel you. All right, need R's, G's, and X's. I usually go in and cut out what I need for both sides of the car at the same time. But I'll just throw one side of the car's decals in the water now, and then leave the other ones off to the side until we get to the other side of the car. G we go. Might have gotten a little close to that H, unfortunately. And X's is all that's left for letters. It's weird that there's less X's in this set than any other letter, even though that's a super common letter in reporting marks. Very strange. This is a nice, easy card to re-letter to, digit-wise, just the 4 numbers, which is nice. So, oh, and we've got corresponding letters, which means I can be lazy with that too. I can just use these 45s that are right next to each other, and the spacing's a little too far apart to really actually leave them together, though, unfortunately. Four, 5. Four. Oh man, I might have gotten too close to that 4. That's what I get for talking and decaling at the same time. And then we got 95, so I need 2 nines total. And 2 more 5s. Ooh, do I have? Okay, I do have 2 more 5s. After that X situation, I was concerned I wouldn't. I should also, while we're here, just take a moment to thank everybody that's watched the last layout update. Holy cow, has that gotten a ton of views, and I'm really happy with the way that it's been received. Lots of kind words. Really inspiring me to keep going. So appreciate it if you've watched it and you're here tonight. Usually worry about kind of getting the decals on the car and then final placing them, but that was a little too far away. Don't want it to dry out up there. Okay, there's the G. The G is going to be the biggest place where it's noticeable that this is a different font. Had I noticed it before I put the decals in the water, I might have been able to even do something about that, but it's a little late now. It's okay though. I'm not super worried about it. These really just need to be on the layout so that I've got the full ops scheme available to me. what I'm planning. That's not the digit I wanted. Thought that was the X, but I guess not. Okay, 45.95. Scooch that over. Alright, so let's get these we'll get these letters adjusted so that they look pretty straight. And we'll also make sure they're in the right spot. It looks like they're actually a little further over on the car than I've currently got them, which is no problem. It's a little wet. They're a little too dry to move them. Don't want to ruin anything. For some reason, my PRR boxcars are thinking they are Penn Central and can't stay on the rails. Oh, man. Don't you just hate when things go Penn Central, Tim? That's funny. I usually just try to eyeball these to be as good as they can. I don't stress about it if they're not flawless, but nobody notices when you're operating anyway. I've got some cars that are, you know, show pieces, and some of them are just they're warm bodies for the purposes of operations. Boy, this is the real riveting content, right? Just watching me do decal work all stream. How's that look from your guys' point of view? Let's see here. It's a little bit of a delay, but not bad. Looks a little bit better from my point of view. I think the 5 on the end is a little too high maybe, but no, it seems a little low. I think I'm relatively happy with that. We can pivot to working on the other side here. Uh-oh. That's no bueno, Tim. You got something stuck in your frog, maybe? Come on. Boy, that decal just did not want to move. Let's check back in on how this did overall. I might have just oversprayed it a little bit, honestly. Might have gotten away with it. I don't know. Second coat's not looking too bad. Pretty decent. Better coverage that time. Alright. Get this last side of this car finished up. I'll do the ends, I don't know. Maybe I'll be back again next week for another stream and we'll finish these up. We'll see. Depends on how much time I get throughout the rest of this week and into the weekend. I wonder if I can get this to get away with tilting it more towards you guys so you can see. Not having to worry about bunging up the decals on the other side. How's that gonna look? Yeah, I think that'll work. That's overall where I want those to be, so let's get the numbers on and then we'll do final fit. Alright, the last one. Where's it hiding in here? This. So last I knew, Heath at Human City Junction was going tonight too, so I will be over there if anybody else wants to join later tonight. We'll just kind of base the numbers for now off of this side of the car. If they're wrong for some reason, we'll figure that out another time. Printer kind of ran out of ink printing these out. I was going to do side 2 when I printed these reference photos, but unfortunately didn't have the ink to do it. Typically I just leave them up on my laptop screen and I don't even bother printing them out, but laptop's where I'm checking in on the chat tonight, so doesn't work quite as well. Okay. So the G was a little low. Come on. Not quite there. Well, I think that's gonna have to be good enough for tonight. I'll work on getting these straightened out a little bit better off screen, but I think that's about where we are here. Oh, Joey came in right at the end, of course. Ah, darn Joe. Joey, these were Walther's Gold Line tank cars, fully assembled. These ones were not kits, but I did have to take them out of the reporting marks that they were in. So the font that I'm using is not exact for the car, but you know, it's kind of the point where it's close enough. You're not gonna notice unless you're really looking, especially in the middle of an op session. So, man, I just really messed up the should really put like a piece of tape on this thing to make sure that I have everything straight, but I gotta do a little bit more adjusting. How's that? You can kind of just look down the car from my angle and see that it's relatively straight, and I'm happy with how that looks, so we'll leave it there. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'll, like I said, I'll be in Heath's chat here in the next half hour, but we're gonna wrap up my stream here. Again, thanks for tuning in. You know, not the craziest stream tonight. Just doing a little bit of decal work and working on the patches on this other tank car, but you know, some fun, some progress. Nice to get back to the workbench. All that jazz. So. And yeah, if I've got time, I'll see you here next week too. So take care. See you guys later.